Well, welcome. Thank you to the International Trade Council. I'm excited to be here at the Startup Summit 2021. Special thanks to Ron and his entire team for putting this on, for bringing us together. Of course, we would all prefer to be in person, to be sharing this together. But hopefully everyone's doing well out there. This is incredible. It's a global community coming together. It's all been a tough time, and I'm really delivering this keynote kind of in a bubble. We realize that there's a pandemic, and hopefully everyone is hanging in there, is doing okay. We're going to share the next 20 or 25 minutes or so together, and we're going to talk sports, and we're going to talk innovation and investing. And again, I appreciate everyone's time. I'm Chad Stender. I'm a partner at 76 Capital, sports venture capital fund. We're located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm really excited to be here with you. As you can see on the screen, there's my email, my social handles, whether it's Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. Please connect. Let's share ideas, share companies, see if we can find ways to help each other, but please reach out. Do not be shy. And again, I really appreciate the International Trade Council for hosting and for having me on today. So let's get into this. Why sports are driving the next 10 years of innovation. So an overview of myself. Again, I'm Chad Stender, partner here. I've been with 76 Capital and a venture capitalist for almost a decade now, getting to work on all the exciting things we have going at 76 Capital as we continue to build in the venture scene. Prior to 76 Capital, I came out of the entrepreneur and innovation space. I've done everything from putting groups together to try to purchase companies, being part of startups. One of the cool experiences that I had that was very relevant is I was one of the leaders with a sports accessory company, and I got to do all things from building from the ground up, and it was an amazing experience and really is very important for what we're working on now. And before the innovation space, I was a sports executive. I worked in the professional side with the Philadelphia Flyers here in Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia 76ers. At the time, the parent company was Comcast Spectacor. It was a great experience to get to work across all their different properties. I was fortunate after school to get to go down to Florida and intern in the marketing department for the Walt Disney World and Walt Disney Corporation, which was a life-changing experience for me. I've been very blessed and fortunate to get to be part of nonprofit and to get to give back and spend time helping others. And we at 76 Capital think that's so critical and paramount to everything we do, to always give back, help out, no matter what's going on. And the last thing I want to say about myself is I try to be a tireless networker, to always connect, to always build relationships. And that's what I hope we can do here as we all spend some time together today. Again, please reach out, please email, please contact, go to our website, find ways to reach out. So let's get into this. Let's talk about 76 Capital. Let's talk about why we think the next 10 years of innovation are going to be truly led around sports and why it's such a massive opportunity. So here's our good friend, Brent Musburger. He's one of the founders of one of our portfolio companies, VSiN, the leading sports media, sports betting network. And so what's going on at 76 Capital? At the heart of it, 76 Capital, we're a 21-year running venture fund. We've always had the core focus on investing early, getting involved with these young companies, building with the founders, the entrepreneurs, the leaders. We always say that 76 Capital is built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. We're always trying to innovate here. And at the same time, we're big believers that it's so paramount to build, to grow, and disrupt. And we love getting in early with our portfolio companies. We've had multiple funds over the years. Again, Wayne Kimmel, and I'll give a background on him and our leadership team in a little, founded everything in 1999. And we saw something really unique happening about 5, 6, 7 years ago. All of a sudden, the landscape around sports was changing. Specifically, the landscape in early stage investing was changing. It was so critical to have a brand, to be known for what you are investing in. And we realized our network, our relationships at 76 Capital were in and around the sports world. And we saw something really big and opportunistic. So before we get into our latest sports focused fund, and we're actually just about to launch our next one, given the success we've had with our first sports fund that we launched in 2017. Let's talk about the overall macro trend of the last 18 to 24 months in our industry, in our world. And I'm sure everyone out here has experienced some of this, understands what's going on, is seeing this, is reading this. And if you're involved in this, if you're building a company that's looking to disrupt, please contact us, please reach out. We would love to discuss how we could possibly help each other and hopefully work together. So some of the things that have gone on and why we feel this is the time to get into sports, to get into this innovation and this disruption. This is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity in front of us. So what are some of the trends? In the States here, 88 of the top 100 broadcasts in 2019 were sports. So 88 of the top 100 were sports-focused broadcasts. And that is really saying that sports are the last bastion of live entertainment. It is what people tune into, engage with, show up for. But it's changed. Not everyone is watching in the traditional sense in linear. It's social media. It's the over-the-top platforms. It's sports betting. It's gaming. All these trends are coming together, but sports is still the one thing that people want to show up for. They don't want to miss. They want to be there on social media, talking about it as it plays out. Some of the recent things that have happened, ESPN just paid $3 billion for the rights to the SEC over the next 10 years. The NFL is coming up on its media rights, and the projections have it that the NFL could garner $100 billion for the rights of the NFL on their next contract. The biggest players in technology are involved in our space. So when you look around, who's focused on this industry? You have Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and many others that are figuring out their plays for the overall sports industry and how they can innovate, acquire, and disrupt. Some of the key companies to point out over the last 12 to 18 months, Peloton is now in the NASDAQ 100. Their recent market cap was $44 billion. They're up 434% for 2020. Callaway just went out and purchased Top Golf for $2 billion, and that deal should close very shortly here. Whoop, the wearable connected fitness that so many athletes are wearing, so many of us are wearing. They just did a deal with the PGA Tour. It's worth over $1 billion. People really want to understand where they need the data to give them the feedback for how they're sleeping, their heart rate, everything you're monitoring and understanding what's going on with your own body and your own workouts and your own fitness. On the gaming side, Xbox and PlayStation just released their latest consoles and immediately they sold out. I think the most famous gamer and streamer out there today is Ninja. Ninja is now making more than most NFL players. He has contract deals. He has a sneaker deal. He has a drink deal. He has technology deals and sponsorships. It's a wild to see what's going on in the gaming space. Overall, in the team value in sports, for the first time ever, you have professional sports teams valued at over $5 billion. Today, there are 57 teams globally worth over $2 billion. 10 years ago, there was one team worth over $2 billion. The big trend is when you look around and see the owners of these teams today, they're now entrepreneurs themselves. They're innovators. They're disruptors. They come from the financial space. The overall landscape of who's owning these teams has really changed in the last 10 to 15 years. You're seeing owners like Ballmer, Michael Rubin here in Philadelphia, Joe Tsai, Mark Cuban. On the public market side, Tepper, Stephen A. Cohen recently with the Mets. The big trend that these owners, they use technology, they use data, they use information to make their decisions. and they do it at a rapid pace. And what the sports industry needs is just what those owners are used to. And we believe at 76 Capital, they're going to bring that tech, innovation, and data to the teams that they're now owning. And they're already doing this. And we think this is a massive opportunity, right for disruption, right for entrepreneurs, right for innovation. And again, if you're working on anything in this space, please connect with us. Please talk to us. Let's see how we can work together. The biggest trend here in the States, about 2.5 years ago, May of 2018, PASPA was overturned. And PASPA was the law that said you could bet only in Nevada, and that was overturned starting in New Jersey. And now the states on their own could determine whether they would allow regulated sports betting. To bring it up to speed, there's already 25 states. In addition, Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico have regulated sports betting. So in 2.5 years, we almost have over half the country access to a regulated sports betting market. In October, $3 billion was bet legally within these regulated states. And to put that in perspective, when before 2018, Nevada was doing about $5 billion in the regulated sports betting industry, as they were the only regulated sports betting state. So just in October, it eclipsed over $3 billion. And this past November, New Jersey alone almost reached $1 billion themselves. The growth is at a hyper speed. And again, it's right time for innovation. DraftKings went public in 2020. They have around an $18 billion market cap. They've grown 335%. One of the biggest deals that happened around this time last year, at last Super Bowl, Penn National purchased Barstool Sports, which had a lot of people scratching their head. But it's been an amazing partnership so far. I think everyone's watching to see how this is gonna play out. But it's been a big deal for those involved. And from our side, investing on the early stage side of this, we've really been fortunate that we've been able to build our brand at 76 Capital, to be thought leaders. And we're trying to be known as the venture fund for all things sports investing. So what are some of the trends that we saw? So many athletes, I apologize, it's a little blurry here. I pulled it from one of my other decks, but so many athletes today are involved in startups. They're involved in innovation. The athletes understand technology. They've grown up with it. They understand data. They expect that to drive their workouts, their training, their stats, their information. And they themselves are incredible investors in all things sports and non-sports related. It's a massive trend, and it's only going to continue. And it's something we really have seen, and we've fortunately gotten to work with some amazing athletes around the investment space. And whether that's investing together, having them as part of what we're doing at 76 Capital, the education side, the learning. We've even had athletes intern with us. It's been an amazing experience. One of the biggest things that we did, and we realized that we were going to go full head into sports in 2016, we became partners with a sports marketing agency out in New York called Rubicon Talent. This was a really big jump off for us. And it actually started, like all good stories, over lunch, breaking bread. And one of the partners, that they themselves were starting their own agency. They were starting up, leaving different agencies and combining the 4 partners to start their own. They were sharing the story over lunch of how athletes, unfortunately, don't have a lot of people in their inner circle that work with them on the startups, that understand venture, that understand these one-off opportunities that are constantly being approached. Should they ask for equity? Should they take cash? What's a convertible note? And we sat back, myself, Wayne Kimmel, John Powell, at that lunch, and saw a big opportunity. Our eyes got really wide. And we realized that we are perfect for this. And the partnership started. We would work closely with their athletes, whether it's Olympians, professional athletes, broadcasters, and help them on any of their one-off opportunities. We are not financial advisors. We're venture capital investors, but we're able to work through their different deals that they see. And it's been an incredible partnership. And it's been a really big jumping point for us to go solely focused on all things sports investing. We have an incredible leadership team. We've worked together for the last 5 or 6 years. Wayne and I have been working together, like I said, for the last decade. Wayne's the founder of 76 Capital. He's put his blood, sweat, and tears into this business, starting everything in '99. He's had massive successes selling companies to the likes of IBM, Intel, Walgreens. He helped back the team at Nutrisystem. They were the top performing stock on the NASDAQ for 5 consecutive years. He's always been a big player in the sports space, and this has been a lot of fun getting to build this with Wayne, John, Lisa, and our team here. John Powell himself has an incredible background on the real estate side. Him and his family are one of the largest retail holders over the last 40 or 50 years, most notably for building the King of Prussia Mall here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They sold most of their holdings about 8 years ago. In addition, they owned a professional football team in the USFL, the Philadelphia Stars. The big part that John is very humble about, but he's an incredibly accomplished athlete himself, competing in Ironmans and Ultramans. He also did what's dubbed the hardest 48 hours in sport, the Furnace Creek 508. And when John tells the story, athletes, some of the top athletes in the world, their jaws drop on the floor when you hear how John rode for 48 straight hours through Death Valley. So John's an amazing person to get to work beside. And Lisa is truly instrumental on the legal, on the support. She's been with John for over 20 years at Kravco and worked for some of the biggest law firms and done some of the biggest deals in industry. And not pictured, but James Santor and Scott Powell are so integral to our team to helping us achieve everything that we're working on. So again, at the highest of high, our overall thesis at 76 Capital, what we realized in 2015, 16, 17, our network was around sports, our relationships. But we realized that people do 3 things every day. You yourself either work out or are playing a sport. Your kid, your grandkid, someone that you're connected to is training, is working, is playing, is gaming. They're looking to be the next LeBron or Serena or Ninja, that streamer and gamer that I mentioned earlier. And if you're not playing or someone in your family is not playing and involved, you're watching, you're consuming, you're gaming, you're betting. And we realized that over in Asia and Eastern Europe, gaming has been growing over the last 20 years, and it really just hadn't gotten to the States about 5 years ago in full force, as it's really come on strong the last 5 or 6 years. The same thing for sports betting. In Europe, it's been prevalent across all their sports for so long. And again, outside of Nevada, it's not been illegal here until 2018. We saw these trends, we saw everything, and we realized there was $1 trillion opportunity in front of us at 76 Capital, and not enough investors focused on this industry. And we dove in. We put up most of the capital. We brought in our family, our friends that believed in us, believed in our thesis, and we got to work. We raised our sports fund. We started investing, and it's been proven out. We've had some incredible wins so far, and it's just getting going about 3 years in on our first sports fund, and we're on to our next. Again, it's our network that we've been able to really become one of the leaders in investing in this industry. We're seeing close to 150 deals a month. But again, we want to see the sports deals. So if you're out there, please send us those deals. A couple of special things that we have at 76 Capital. We have something called our Athlete Venture Group. Again, where we get to work with top athletes. Either they invest with us, they intern with us, but we help them learn. We help them get ingrained in this industry, and we connect them with startups that might be of interest to them. As you see, Emmanuel Sanders, the wide receiver, Super Bowl champion. He's a really big gamer. We connected him with our portfolio company, Nerd Street Gamers. He even went as far as to wear Nerd Street cleats in one of the games over the last few years. It's been an amazing experience for us, and it's been really valuable. valuable for our companies themselves. And during the pandemic, we launched something called the Leadership Series, where we're doing podcasts and video series featuring the top entrepreneurs, athletes, business people, leaders in this industry. We love to do events in person, but unfortunately, given the rise of the pandemic, we had to go digitally. But this has been great for us. If you have any interest of being involved in our leadership series, again, please connect with us. So like I said, it's really the relationships in our network that have allowed us to have been successful to date, and we're keen on growing this. And as you see, Brendan Harris there, he played over 8 years in Major League, came out of William & Mary, finished up his master's, got his degree at Wharton recently, and interned for us. And it's those types of experiences that are invaluable, both for Brendan, but also for us at 76 Capital. So at the highest of high, what are we seeing? And we break our investments into 3 verticals that are all complementary to each other. They are not siloed. All of our companies kind of play across our different verticals, but we're focused on sports betting, esports, and overall how technology is disrupting traditional sports. Again, sports betting in the States became legal in Nevada in 1949. But up until 2018, there was very little innovation and disruption because it was only legal in Nevada. It was about a $5 billion industry. All of a sudden, May of 2018, the states now can roll out, and it's happened very quickly. And we think this is going to be over a $500 billion regulated industry. And our goal, our thesis at 76 Capital is to surround the sports betting industry from our investments. And as you see on some of our portfolio companies, we're involved on the media side with VSiN, the integrity space with US Integrity, the analytics with Swish Analytics. We have a sports book called Victory. And the other big component that we're investing in is the data collection is critical to feeding the sports books, the data feeds. We're investors in Shot Tracker, in basketball, Diamond Kinetics, in the baseball space. Gaming and esports is globally just growing exponentially, specifically during the pandemic and streaming. It's only poured gasoline on a fast-growing industry. Over 2.7 billion people game. So that's almost a third of the world consider themselves gamers. This industry is probably going to top over $180 billion, the global gaming industry for 2020, and will quickly eclipse over $200 billion, most likely over the next 12 months. Those numbers are larger than movies and music, the film and music industry combined. It's staggering. In the United States, there's over 200 colleges and universities that are giving scholarships today for esports. And what we realized and what we saw the opportunity for us at 76 Capital is to invest and build out the amateur side here in the States. If you use the analogy of playing hockey, someone needed to build the hockey rinks. And we decided to invest in the entrepreneurs, the innovators that are building the hockey rinks. They're providing the access for gamers to play, to learn, to train, to get involved, and to potentially get one of those scholarships if they're interested. Nerd Street Gamers is our portfolio company that are doing just that. They're building that amateur infrastructure, the pipeline. Our other portfolio company to feature is Maestro, one of the top streaming companies. They stream esports, traditional sports, music. They're one of the leading platforms. Please check out Maestro, maestro.io, if you've never heard of them or if you're not currently working with them. And the other big trend that we've seen are technology is ripe to disrupt traditional sports. And that's anywhere from fan engagement, working on the professional side, AR, VR, using machine learning. The way we look at it is so much of the sports equipment today are dumb. They're not smart. And what I mean by that is take the baseball industry. The bats should be connected. The balls that are being thrown should be connected. sensors embedded where you get immediate data and information right to the coaches, right to the players, right to their parents. And that information also is going to be incredibly valued to the broadcasters and potentially to the sports books themselves. And that's what our portfolio company, Diamond Kinetics, is doing. They're making those bats and balls smart. And the crazy thing to think about is we used to all walk around with dumb phones. Our phones could really call and text and not do much more. But today we all have smartphones. Our phones do everything. They're computers that we have with us. And it doesn't make sense that all sporting equipment is not going to be smart sporting equipment. In 2019, $228 million worth of bats, softball and baseball, were sold here in the United States. And pretty quickly, that massive industry is going to be a smart industry, and it's our portfolio companies that are leading this charge. So again, the next 10 years is going to be sports. It has the power to change and bring us together. And we at 76 Capital are looking to invest and be involved in all things on the innovation front. Again, please email me, please connect with us, please go to our website, and let's see if we can help each other. So at this time, if there's any questions, I would love to take them. I'm going to stop presenting and see if we can get a little video time just so we can show a face. And we'll see if we make this happen. Again, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.